So you probably think that if you could get good at, say, Facebook ads or YouTube ads, that would be the solution to you building your network marketing business. You could generate leads, sales, signups, all the shebang, probably even automate that, and that's the solution. I'm going to tell you in this training why if you do ads too soon at the wrong time, that's probably going to be what kills you, puts a nail in the coffin of your business. Let me explain this to you. I've seen it happen so many times. I don't want you to make this mistake. Ads are fantastic. I'm not here to slate them. I use them, but only at the right time. There's a sequence. There's a game to be played here in network marketing, and we must understand the rules if we want to win. So let me dive into this. So what are Facebook ads or YouTube ads or any paid advertising? Let's just call it paid ads. What do they actually do? Well, what paid ads do is they multiply. They multiply. If you have a system in place that is creating 2 team members a week, and you can show that system to a whole bunch more of the same type of people, you're going to scale and multiply those results. But typically, when someone comes into ads, at least when they look at them for the very first time, they're looking at them to solve a problem, as opposed to scale, which is when you really should use them. So they say, oh my goodness, I'm not signing anybody up, or I'm not making any product sales, I haven't got enough customers or team members, so I'll go to paid ads as a last ditch attempt to just say, oh, it's predictable, I'll turn them on and I'll get that flow of new people. That's trying to solve a problem. Facebook ads or you paid ads are not the best use that way. They're best to scale an existing result that you're happy with. So what happens when we multiply is zero. Even if it's by $1,000 a day. If we multiply 1,000 by zero, we still have zero. Apart from now, you're $1,000 down to find out what you already knew, which is that you weren't getting results. This is the problem that a lot of network marketers face. They have no idea where the problem is in their business. They don't know, because we don't know what we don't know. So what happens is, using paid ads, because it only multiplies what's already happening in your business, do you see how that works, right? You see how more attention on something that isn't working is just going to get more of what isn't working. Do you get that? Like if I'm selling steak to vegetarians and I say, well, I'm not selling any steak, let me pay for 1 million vegetarians to look at the steak. I'm still not going to sell any steak because it's the wrong offer, it's the wrong targeting, it's the wrong audience, it's just not going to work no matter how many people I show it to. So I don't want you to make that mistake in your paid ads campaigns by doing them too soon. So what was I saying? Yeah, dilute and complicate your growth. So there's so many steps from getting someone to not knowing who you are to saying yes and buying a product or joining your business, right? We've got to generate the interest. Okay? We've then got to convert that, which is usually a presentation. It's usually follow-up. It's usually objection handling. It's usually closing. Okay, then if we want to duplicate, we've got fast start training, we've got growth, we've got development. Fast start, I said, didn't I? Training. If we want duplication. But even to get someone to just say yes, we've got to invite, we've got to generate interest, we've got to get presentation, follow-up, objection handling, closing. There's so many different moving parts. Even something with 4 options has a possible 10,000 incorrect combinations, right? If you had a lock that had 4 digits, there's a possible 10,000 incorrect combinations. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already, and I haven't even gone into much detail. So we've got tens of thousands of different combinations here that we can fail on. So if you point Facebook ads or YouTube ads, any paid marketing, towards a system that we don't know why it's not working, it dilutes your attention away from those moving pieces, doesn't it? Because if we're paying money, let's stick with Facebook ads because I keep saying it by mistake. Let's say we stick with Facebook ads and we're paying Facebook ads over it. We get angry about that. We get frustrated. We're like, I want to get this ad to work. So we take our attention away from everything I just mentioned and we're like, let me keep changing the image. Let me keep changing the copy. Let me keep changing the targeting. Let me increase the budget. It's like being at Vegas. If I can just have one more roll of the dice, this might work, and we end up with not much money left at all. We have, like, sometimes it causes people to quit. They're like, I've spent all this money. Facebook ads are supposed to be the solution. It isn't. So I guess I'm not cut out for this. Well, what happened was, instead of actually putting their attention and say, okay, let me look at how I can generate leads effectively. Let me look at how I can convert that. What's my follow-up like? What's my presentation like? Instead of breaking these steps down and working them through sequentially, now they've thrown advertising into it. There's now more dilution. They now have 9 or 10 variables as opposed to 5. And they're looking at the wrong ones. Because even if you had a high-performing Facebook ad, even if you, inverted commas, fixed the ad with a bunch of budget and testing and tracking or just look, right? Even if you've got this amazing ad that's getting loads of views, again, if you're getting loads of eyes and views to the steak product and you're a vegetarian, it's not going to convert. So you still think the ad is broken. You still say, well, this Facebook ad things or this YouTube ad things, they don't work. Why? Because I'm not getting any sign-ups. Yeah, but you don't realize that the advert isn't the problem. You have a great ad, or you know, even if you did or you didn't, you don't know. Because the end result is still the same, 0 output, because there's so many other moving pieces you haven't solved. So when's the time that you should use Facebook ads or YouTube ads? I use both. So the time to use them is when you have results to scale. You need to have a predictable system. Let's put pred and system. I know my writing's terrible, but you get the gist, right? Because if we have all those other moving parts are fixed, they're giving us an output of results. Now, if we put $1,000, let's just give some general number, and we times that by 2, well, we do double our money, right? And it doesn't work that way, by the way. I'm just saying, if we multiply 2 numbers together and one of them isn't 0, then we're going to get a bigger number. Right? No matter how big the number, if it's by 0, always going to be 0. But if we can even get 2 output on our system, and then we multiply that, we're going to double, aren't we? So now it makes sense. Now we can say, okay, I know if this ad doesn't increase me from 2, I know it's the advert. Before, we had no idea. So it's money better spent, and it allows you to scale much more safely and predictably because there's only ever one variable, which is the advert itself. We can keep on chopping and changing and fixing that. Whereas if we have to fix everything at once, we really just don't know which way to turn. Now, the reason why people don't do this when I teach them this sometimes is impatience. Don't fall into that trap, okay? I understand, and I've been there too. I came into this industry 50 grand in debt a decade ago. I needed the money. I needed it quickly. But the thing is, you've got to realize is that sometimes when you rush things, it ends up becoming the slowest. How many times in your life have you done something, you haven't really thought it through, you've completely rushed it, you've made a mess, it's taken more work to fix the mess and then do it the right way anyway. So all the mess and all the cheap and easy freeway just slowed you, distanced you from your success. It's like saying, I've got to get across the channel, right, from England to France. I'll just swim it. No, just because you haven't got a boat right now, swimming is not going to be the quickest way. You need to do lots of training and have the right tide and the conditions that you'll just drown and die, right? You don't want to have your business drown and die. What would be smarter would be for me to take maybe a day or two, assess the weather, get a correct boat that I can drive across, make sure I've got the legalities and everything in place, and then take the journey. See, if I started there and then swimming, I would die. But if I got the boat and the tactics and I took a little bit longer, I'd actually make it across to the other side, I'd get the results that I've been chasing. Even if I swam, I'd have to swim there, I can't make it, swim back. Swim out, I can't make it, swim back. The boat, straight across in one journey. So it's like the hare and the tortoise, I guess. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Facebook ads, often people treat them like the hare. They burn out, they burn a hole in their pocket, get rid of all their money, and then they quit. So don't let that be you. Was that sound advice? Was that useful? Was that helpful for you? I'll give you one little kind of caveat to this, I guess, and that is if you're looking at generating leads specifically through, say, messenger ads. If your only outcome is I want to have more people in my inbox, then we can obviously use an ad for that without having to test a bunch of other stuff. If most people gauge the results on how many people signed up, how many people bought, if we can reduce that result down and say how many people are actually in my inbox messaging me or wanting to know more, then now we can actually say, okay, maybe now I can use an ad to test that. Because I already have, let's say you already have a lead capture page that's converting, or you already have a certain offer that people are asking for information on. We don't go through the whole process, we can focus on a slice of it. So that will be one exception where you may say, I could do the ads earlier because I physically rich and I just want people to message me. So if I can get the ad to capture that curiosity, I'll get the message. Okay, that could be something you could test with this. But still, I wouldn't want to create that interest to then plug it into a system that wasn't converting. You're just wasting money. Why would you generate a bunch of leads that you can't close? I'd like to have the system in place for you first. That makes sense. If you want to learn about all this stuff more, how can I put a system in place? How can I learn Facebook ads? How can I shrink my time down on this? How can I get the boat a couple of days early? Then you can go to richardmatheru.com. Bunch of free training, bunch of free resources, and some paid products as well. Check all of that out, see what's the best fit for you to make progress in your business. Depends on your level and level of ambition. I'm there to help, okay? As always, go create a day in a life that counts. Always have more desires than excuses. I hope this was helpful for you today. Engage with this training. Like, share, comment if you did, so I know to do more for you. It's the only way I know if you're liking this or not. If you're a subscriber, I'll catch you on the next one. Whatever you're doing, have a fantastic day, and bye for now.